All of us have projects around the house periodically that we want to get done. This program, Fix It Man, looks at various kinds of projects, some small, some big, that all of us have around the house. I'm Cliff Brock. Let's see what kinds of projects we can work on today.
Several weeks ago, I went out and got myself a power washer. We have a lot of driveway and sidewalks, all of the pavers around the pool, sidewalk to get back to the pool, and it just wasn't working. It was too expensive to have somebody come in and do it. I rented one, but it cost as much to rent one for 2 days as it did to go out and buy one. This is not an ad for Generac. I get no kickback from Generac. It's the one that when I did my research, I decided I wanted to try. There are several things I really like about this power washer. One of them is that it has an electric start. So all you do is push this, hold this for a second. I'm not going to start it because I haven't charged the battery, but push this and this puppy starts, and it starts consistently. I've pulled on these things for too many years, and I simply didn't want to be pulling on a hand starter anymore.
I like this unit, but there's some things that I would do differently if I were the engineer designing the product.
This is inconvenient. I would call this a design flaw. You have about an inch between the oil fill and the tire. When they sent me the unit, the company, Generac, sent me a bottle with a flexible neck on it to put the oil in. That's the initial oil fill. But it's not very doggone convenient to get to it. Okay, now we're on here. Why they would do it, I don't understand, but this is a second oil fill. But you can see you've got about 4 or 5 inches between the oil fill and the tire to be able to get that oil line, oil can in there, or your funnel to fill the oil. This I don't think is a very good design. Another thing that I'm not really keen on is the hose. The hose is long enough. It does a good job of reaching out, but it is so stiff that you cannot get that hose on the hanger that they put on here for this unit. I may, depending on how much I use the unit, I may look around and see if I can find a more flexible hose, maybe use this as a backup or something. There are many things to like about this little unit. Of course, there's some design, what I think of as design flaws, the oil filter and the stiffness of the hose and that flimsy, to me, connection for the water. But there's sure a lot to like about this unit, too. Another feature that I like about this thing is this detergent container. You get power washer detergent, mix it half and half with water, and this cleans really, really well when you add that. It does specifically say no bleach, so you can't just use Dawn. And also nice that the unit comes with 4 nozzles. A general nozzle for doing general cleaning, a pretty darn stiff one, a very stiff one, and then one that is almost like a jet stream. The only option that I've bought for this unit is this power washer. This is a little one. It's an 18-incher. You can get them 24 and maybe 16. You may be able to get them bigger in commercial units. But what this thing does is really pretty slick. You just hook it up as you would any other power unit, and this thing goes around with jets of water coming out, and it really does a nice job on driveways. I bought one and I sent it back. It did not have these wheels. It relied on the upward pressure from these nozzles to lift the circular cleaner off of the driveway, and I wanted the wheels so that it went around in a nice circle. And so I would recommend, if you're going to do a power washer, add this to your list of equipment for your power washer. One feature on this power washer that bothers me, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but having worked around tools for a lot of years, This is your water line that you hook up to your hose on the hose bib on the house when you're doing a job. And you're moving. I mean, it's a nice wheeled operation. It only weighs about 58 pounds, so it's pretty easy to move. But if you forget and you pull your hose with this, you're putting a lot of torque pressure on that connection. So I just went out online and I bought myself a 3-foot steel hose. I connected it to the hose connection on the power washer, and then I used zip ties so that when I'm pulling, if I forget and don't pick up the hose, I'm pulling against these zip ties, not against that connection. Used a good bit of Teflon tape to make the connection so I didn't have a leak, and it has worked really, really well. I think it's something that I'm going to be happy I did. The battery is not inconvenient. It's not terribly convenient, but it's not difficult to get out and get charged. They send you a charger, slide that puppy out, charge him up, and you're ready to go. I haven't used it enough to be able to tell you how long the battery lasts. Typically, if I have 4 or 5 days or a week between jobs that I'm doing, I just, as a matter of course, take it out and charge it. I guess what I would do if I were grading this power washer is I'd grade it fairly high. It's light enough. When my friend and I talked about my getting a power washer, he has a big unit. He's a former professional football player and he has trouble lifting the puppy out of his truck. We have a place up in North Georgia, so I move this up to there to clean. I'll take it up to my son's house to clean his driveway. I needed something that I could lift easily, and this I can get in and out of my truck with ease, only 58 pounds. It's got plenty of pressure at 3,100 pounds per square inch. It does the job. Couple of modifications, this one probably being the most important one, and I think I'm going to be really happy with a power washer around the house. I don't know if a Generac is right for you. You'll do your own research. As I looked at them, the thing that was really important to me was a Honda engine, and this has a Honda clone, and an electric start. It had the two things, and enough pressure, the 3,100 pounds of pressure, water pressure I wanted, so that I could be sure that I could clean things. This is Cliff Brock for Fix It Man, working around the house, sharing things that I've learned so that maybe it'll make it easier as you work around your house. Come back, join us often. Don't forget, click a like and be sure to subscribe.
Okay, a couple of design flaws, the oil fill maybe, and the stiffness of the hose, and maybe a little bit on the connection where the hose connects, the water hose connects to the power washer itself. But there's a lot to like on this little unit. It has some nice features.